Today we are going to see continuously the continuation of the topic called control and coordination. So what we have completed is the introductory part. Here in this topic we will learn about the nervous system and the endocrine system. So that is our topic here, to understand briefly about the nervous system and the endocrine system. Nervous system and the endocrine system. Now, what do you mean by endocrine? Endo means inside, crine is to secrete. Now, the nervous system, there are the characteristics of nervous system are, they are electric impulses carried by the nervous cells. What are they, children? Electric impulses. Impulses means signals. Impulses carried by nerve cells. Right. The second characteristic is that it has faster transmission. So these are the two characteristics of a nervous system. What are they? The nervous system it consists of electric impulses carried by the nerve cells. No other cells take part. It is the nerve cell. And the second part is that it has got a faster transmission. But it also has, being a very important system in our body which controls the relatively faster challenges in our day-to-day life, it also has got some limitations. Let us see the limitations. So what is the limitation of this particular system? The limitations are, it can reach, what is this, what we here talking about is the electric impulses, can reach only the cells connected by nervous tissue. Okay. The second limitation is that electric impulses cannot be continuously created and transmitted. So these are the two limitations. Once again we will discuss. The nervous system is one of the important system in our body which can help us to face the challenges of our daily life. So what are the characteristics of this nervous system? The two characteristics are the electric impulses or electric signals produced by the nervous system is being carried by the nerve cells. The second characteristic is that it has a faster transmission. Correctly, that's why it is electric impulses. Okay, now limitations are, it can only reach the cells. So which means that the nervous tissue is not reaching to every part of the cell. The body is consisting of millions and millions of cells. It is not connected. The nervous system is not connected to that many numbers of cells that are present in the body. So the limitation of that is that it can reach only the cells connected by the nervous tissue. The second limitation is that electric impulses cannot be continuously created and transmitted. Now, how can these electric impulses can be created? How the nervous cells understand the particular situation of having a dog at night barking at you while coming back from a job or from your friend's house, or a party, after a party. So what may be the situation, or seeing in a wild animal like a tiger approaching you. So at that moment you need to escape. So what is making you to have these electric impulses to particular organ? It is it is the hormone, right? It is the hormone. This hormone is sent by whom? It is the endocrine system. Endocrine system recognizes the need of a hormone, and a hormone is being produced into the blood, and the blood takes to the targeted organ, and it gets stimulated to act on particular situation. So the electric impulses cannot be continuously created and transmitted, which means that that particular intensity of movement will not be lasting forever. When it is being met, and the situation is being overcome, then that it dies off. The hormone and its action dies off. That's why we say that it cannot be continuously created and transmitted. Coming to the endocrine system, what is the characteristics of endocrine system? Let's say it is done by the chemicals released by stimulated cells, diffuses all round. The second characteristic is that it has a slower transmission. Got it? The advantage of this. Here nervous system has got a limitation. Here the endocrine system has got a advantage. Is that can reach, what is this? These are chemicals. Chemicals can reach all cells. It is a continuous process. Got it? So these are the things that we have to understand here. Now the chemicals, endocrine system secretes some of the things, and in which we have got hormones. Hormones are chemicals released by the stimulated cells, which means that in a particular region of our body, every cell cannot produce this hormones. There are specialized cells, there are stimulated cells which can be stimulated when it is required, and so they produce some of the hormones, and that hormones comes out of, after synthesizing, it comes out of the cells, and it spreads around. And in this process of spreading, it tries to undergo the diffusion, and other cells close by will be able to recognize and act on, for example, cell division, cell growth, thereby the body growth as well. So now what is the advantage of this system? It is a continuous process. So growth is a continuous process. Got it? Now as we know that endocrine system is a chemical coordination in human beings. Now this endocrine system is, how are they formed? This endocrine system is formed by the endocrine glands. So we are going to learn now endocrine glands together from endocrine glands together form the endocrine system. So this is what endocrine glands together form the endocrine system. And before learning what are the glands present in our body, we must know what are the things that the glands produce. Now for example, let us know about glands. Now then we can go to what are the glands producing. Glands are organs that synthesizes and secretes substances either into the blood or apical surface. I repeat, what are glands? Organs that synthesize and secrete substances either into blood or apical surface. Got it? So these are glands. Now I will just draw. So these are organs, means organs are made up of tissues. So these are also made up of tissues. What are tissues? Tissues are a group of cells which are having similar in structure and perform particular function. Got it? So if you take this as a tissue, these are organs, right? These are organs that synthesize and secrete substances. So this is a organ which is deeply present in our body, in between the cells. Now what happens here, in this there are some of the chemicals present, and this particular glands get further necessary chemicals into this system, into this gland, into this organ from the blood. Blood is close by, blood vessel is close by. When if it travels, this glands attracts through the process of diffusion. Through the process of diffusion, it takes in the chemicals that are present, necessary chemicals that are present in the blood, and with the presence of those chemicals, these glands able to produce the secretions that are done by or prepared or synthesized by the glands. Did you understand? So this is how the preparation of secretions or hormones are prepared in a particular gland. So what are glands? Organs that synthesize and secrete substances either into blood or apical surface. Now, how can they produce into the blood? Because if the gland is not having, if the gland is not having an opening or a duct, then what happens? The bloodstream that goes, the blood vessel that is going close by, they start secreting into that blood, and the blood will take. Got it? The blood will take to all parts of the body. So this type of gland is called as endocrine glands. Endocrine glands, which means that it is a ductless glands. It does not have a duct, right? It does not have a duct. It will be. It is made in this manner. It does not have a duct. Got it? These are all tissue cells. Understand? Here also types of different types of cells are present. This is how a gland is produced. Now, whereas the other type of gland is that an exocrine gland. That is also both type of glands are deep into the body, into our body, but the endocrine glands do not have a duct, and so it is called as a ductless glands. Okay, and so they put directly into the blood the secretions. For example, hormones. Hormones. Got it. Now there are ducts which is deep inside our body, and also they have got a long duct. They have got a long duct through which it is too long it is. I am not drawing so long here. You must understand. So through this duct, what is that? they are able to secrete their secretions into the apical surface of our body. Apical surface of the body is like a skin. On the skin, sweat glands are there. Sweat is produced, so which means that deep inside the skin also has got layers, right? So deep inside the skin also there are glands, that these glands are called as exocrine glands. The exocrine glands. Crine means what? Crines means to secrete. Exo is outside. So why do they secrete? Because they have got a duct. Did you understand? So the gland, these are glands with a duct. Glands with duct. Got it? So these are exocrine glands. Exo is outside. To secrete outside. Exo means they are not, the glands are not present outside, but they are both, the endocrine gland and the exocrine both present deep inside our body, but the exocrine glands to produce outside, they are capable of producing outside the apical surface of the body. That is what we were talking now, apical surface. The glands that synthesize and secrete substances either into the blood. So into the blood, example is a endocrine gland. Are you understanding? Okay, because they are ductless glands. Now coming to the apical surface. Apical surface, for example, is a skin. On the skin, sweat is being produced. In the eye, tears are being produced. In the nostril, mucus is being produced. So these are all done by the exocrine glands. So what is the example? Salivary glands example. Okay, example of a exocrine glands. Example of a exocrine glands are the first one is a salivary glands, then sweat glands, oil glands, mucus. Mucus is present, as we learned in the class, in the previous chapter. In the stomach also mucus is being produced. So here mucus, and in the nostrils also mucus is being produced. So mucus is another example. Tears, also example of a exocrine. Even mammary glands. Milk is being produced, mammary glands. So these are also example for this exocrine glands. Now endocrine glands examples are hypothalamus, pituitary gland, pineal gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland. Then we have got adrenal, ovaries, testis, thymus. These are the glands of endocrine glands. So that is what we are going to learn in detail. Okay. So you understand what are glands? Glands are organs that synthesize and secrete substances either into blood or apical surface. So you understand what are they, how are they secreting, by understanding the types of two types of glands in short. Okay. Now we will know what are the types of, what are the secretions that are glands produce. Okay. So the question is this, what do glands secrete? Glands secrete hormones, enzymes, metabolites. So these are the three things produced by the glands. Now hormones we will learn very detailedly, but you must understand in short, excuse me. Hormones, these are chemical messengers. These are chemical messengers act on specific target organs. Hormones, what do we understand about hormones? They are chemical messengers. Messengers means that anybody who gives us message. For example, postman can be considered as a messenger. He brings all the mails from the post office, and he distribute in a particular locality as per the address into a particular house. As per the address, he is able to distribute. So it is a chemical, he is a messenger, like we can say. So these hormones also are chemical messengers, act on specific targeted organ. So you must understand that hormones are produced only by endocrine glands, not exocrine glands. Endocrine glands produces these hormones and they put it into the blood, and blood becomes the messenger. Did you understand? Endocrine glands blood becomes the a medium to carry these messengers. Understand? Blood becomes the medium to carry these messengers. So hormones will travel into the through the blood and reach to the specific organ, like any of the muscles. It can be eyes, or any organs of our body that act on particular situation. So coming to the next one is enzymes. What are enzymes, children? We have learned in the last chapter. Enzymes, they are biomolecules. They are biomolecules made of proteins. They are made up of proteins. And what is the function of this? Function of this enzymes? They accelerate the rate of chemical reaction. So the enzymes, now what is the function of enzyme? They accelerate the rate of chemical reaction. Can you have you heard about a catalyst? Catalyst we learn in this year, we learn in chemistry. What are catalysts? Catalysts are the substance, chemicals which are able to accelerate the rate of chemical reactions. So like electrolysis, it takes hours and hours, like more about 5 to 7 hours to complete, as per the quantity of chemicals that we have applied. So to accelerate that, we need to put some of the chemicals into that. So that are called as the chemicals. So the chemicals are nothing but, enzymes are nothing but, they are biocatalysts. Biocatalysts are enzymes, the catalysts that are present in our body to increase or accelerate the rate of chemical reaction. So those catalysts which are taking the action in our body, they are called enzymes. Another name of, in biology, we talk it as an enzyme. They are also called as a biocatalysts. Understand? They speed up the reaction. They speed up the reaction in our body that occurring inside the body. It may be digestion or circulation or excretion or whatever may be, which speed ups the reaction. In the stomach, you see, in the stomach you have got a HCl, mucus and pepsin. So these are the enzymes. So pepsin will speed up the process of our digestion in our stomach. Now coming to the last point is that metabolites. Metabolites. Now what are metabolites? They are small molecules that take part in metabolic processes. Got it? Now what are, so these, what you have to remember here, metabolites means small molecules. Where do they take part? In the metabolic processes. What are metabolic processes? Metabolic processes we have learned in the last class. They are life processes. Okay. Now metabolic processes are, what are they? They are a set of life sustaining processes which take place in our body, inside the body. Every living organism. Example. So it is a set of life sustaining processes. Example is the digestion. Without digestion we cannot live. Then excretion. Respiration. Circulation. These are the examples of metabolic processes. So for this metabolic processes, there are small molecules that take part in the body, in the process. Okay. Now here, if this life sustaining processes are not taking place, the life is not possible. The organism cannot survive. So they are extremely necessary to sustain life. What are they? The metabolites are extremely necessary. Metabolites are extremely necessary to survive, to sustain life. Now, what are the examples of metabolites? Examples of metabolites. Examples of metabolites are alcohols, amino acids, organic acids, and vitamins. These are the small particles, small molecules which are very important for the metabolic processes. Got it? So what is metabolic process? You understood whatever we have learned in the last chapter. And for this metabolic processes which are very important, which are extremely necessary to sustain life, what are important? The metabolites. Examples are alcohol, organic acids, amino acids, and vitamins. These are all examples of metabolites. So I think you understood this topic, what I want to communicate. Please go through again and again and understand, and refer the textbook. Try to make notes, lecture note, and be in touch again and again. Read so that it will become part of your memory. Got it? So thank you.